Hi, everybody. It's Bob Ost, and it's Friday. So naturally, this is the True Community Gathering. It's our Friday gathering. Been doing it since April 17th, 2020. It was originally a community service that we created so that people would have a place to go during isolation and still feel part of a community. 5 years later, here we are still doing it. And I really I'm proud of the work that we've been doing, and I'm proud to be doing this, and I love doing it actually. Um, our conversations are different than they were when we were in shutdown, but we're still talking about things that are theater related and sometimes a little bit more broadly art related. And we've talked about just about anything you can think of. I like to bring in theater companies from around the country. We've had artists from around the world, believe it or not. Um, that's also very interesting because we used to be a New York centric arts organizations, Theater Resources Unlimited. That's who we are, Theater Resources Unlimited. We are dedicated to helping people understand and navigate the business of theater. And when I opened up this room, who knew that people were going to find us from all around the country and actually around the world? We have people who come here from Australia, UK, Singapore, Malaysia, Germany. So we can no longer call ourselves New York centric. So thank you, Zoom, and thank you, COVID. It's the only thing I can thank COVID for. I can think of. Um, so our conversations just travel all over all aspects of theater. And back in May, when the Tony Awards were looming large, it occurred to me that it was time to probably talk about theater awards, why we do them, what are the criteria for nominating people, and how do you is there really anything objective about picking somebody who is the best actor or the best play or the best director, and what is the best? And we're probably going to talk to people today who don't use any of those terms because we're not the Tony Awards. We're gonna talk to people who are involved with other companies that also give very worthy and high profile awards that any of us would just kill to be awarded. I mean, I've given up my hopes of the Tony Awards, but I haven't let go of the possibilities of getting an award from one of my guests. So I'm going to start introducing you to the guys that are here. Let's see. I'm going to bring them in one at a time, and I'm going to do ladies first. I'm going to actually start with Bevin Ross. So Bevin, um, I'm going to have you replace me on screen, and you're going to tell us a little bit about your background and tell us a little bit about the company that you represent and the award that you give.
Sure. Hi, happy to be here. My name is Bevin Ross. I'm the executive director of the Drama League. And the Drama League has the honor of being the oldest, longest running off Broadway and Broadway awards. We were launched in the 1920s as a pamphlet where we would highlight 10 top 10 shows of the season. And then it was formalized in the structure that is more familiar to what we do now in 1934, when we started regularly honoring the Distinguished Performance Award. It was first given to Katharine Cornell, who won it for Juliet in Romeo and Juliet in 1934. I joined the Drama League. My background is in arts management and policy and fundraising. And I joined in 2019. So I had one of my first things was to not do the awards in 2020. So it took me a couple of years to get to the awards when we had to skip them in 2021, and then 2022 was my first awards as the executive director of the Drama League. And I look forward to it every spring. It is a moment to bring the community together. And the Drama League is very unique because it is awarded based on the Drama League's members' choices. So it's really a wide range of community of professionals as well as avid theater lovers who choose the people who win the Drama League Awards. and I'm sure we'll get more into it, but
Yes.
we really try and recognize the entire theater community. I always say, we are champions, we are cheerleaders of the theater community, and that's our major goal, is to make it a moment where we can all come together and really celebrate an exceptional season.
And there are other things I'm going to actually ask you as we go along. But wasn't I clever to bring on the person who has the award that is the oldest award? If I realized that, I would have done it consciously. So let's. I'm going to bring on. Let me do. Let me do Robert Blume and Charles Wright, who represent the drama desk. I'm going to do both of them, Charles and Bob. Uh, so there you are. So you guys are here, and you both have a long history with the Drama Desk Awards. So let's talk about let's talk about the background and the founding of those and how long they've been around.
That should be Charles, because
Yes, the Drama Desk was founded by uh, representatives of all of the major newspapers in the city in 1949. And of course, it's named for that part of the newsroom where the drama critics sat.
Just for context, what year was the first Tonys?
1947.
So they just edged you out.
Well, no, actually, the Drama Desk, I have Drama Desk was founded as a lunch discussion group among the gentle persons of the theater press. Among the founders were Edith Oliver and Brooks Atkinson and Sam Norkin. The So that they had lunch at Sardi's every week, I believe. And in 1955, to honor one of their members who had died, Vernon Ross, the Drama Desk started an off-Broadway award. It was an award, but they gave multiple Vernon Rice Awards. And it was very informal. The committee, the awards committee, and it was a very small organization then, honored people for particular pursuits. An early, so 1955.
That was also true of the Tony Awards. The original Tony Awards didn't have categories.
Right. But the Vernon Rice Awards were more casual than the Tony Awards. They didn't give
everything is more casual than
they
the
didn't
Tony
give
Awards.
money clips or compacts. And then in the 60s, the Vernon Rice Awards became the Drama Desk Awards, and they were more formal. And then in the 70s, they became awards with upwards of 30 categories. We now have 36 categories of awards. We do not honor the best. We never use the word, or we try never to use the word best. We talk about outstanding work. We like to think that the real honor is being nominated and that we're honoring everyone who is highlighted in the year. However, you have to have winners or audiences won't come to see your awards program. So
that was one of my questions that I was going to ask everybody. Why are there winners? But let's move to Bob. Bob, when did you come on board? And by the way, Charles, I know that Bob has produced the awards. Have you ever produced the awards? I know that you've been the president of the Drama Desk for on and off for a long time, or continuously.
Well, no, I've not been the producer. I'm not a producer in real life. But the president is certainly involved in the production. Bob, do you want to explain that?
sure, of course. Hi. The awards and the organization is kind of like church and state. Okay, the drama desk itself has its members, most of which are theater critics. And they have a nominating committee, and the nominating committee goes out and sees all the shows, all 200 and plus every year, I guess.
Well, in 24-25, it was 231, and that
Okay.
actually was kind of a low number.
Yeah, because the drama desk includes off-Broadway, off-Broadway, and Broadway all on the same plane.
Yeah,
So
let me just say that
sure.
any show, any professional show that's playing 21 performances in Greater New York, in the boroughs, is eligible, and so you don't submit for to be considered for the awards. Our committee follows very closely what is being produced in the city.
And
We're happy to hear from people if they want to make certain that we know about it, and we hope that you'll invite our nominators and then our voters. But we will already have tabs on you if you are producing at the professional level for 21 performances.
So let me just jump in and say the 21 performances is a very important number, because what that tells us is that a showcase which can only run a maximum of, is it 16 performances or 18? I think it's 16 performances.
It's 16, I think.
Yeah, a showcase would not be eligible. We're gonna meet Kat in a second, and we're gonna find out how some other shows can be eligible for acknowledgement. Let's call it acknowledgement. So Bob, you were going to add something.
Okay, well, so I was brought in, I came in as the executive producer in 1999. I owned the show, the award show, and I produced it in conjunction with the Drama Desk organization, obviously, and always worked together with the nominating committee and the board. But I mean, when I say work with them, we kept it separate. They picked who they picked, and we dealt with who got nominated in order to put our award show together. Obviously, if they nominated certain stars that were going to be there because they were on the boards, we would go to them first to make appearances on our show because it was natural they would probably be there. So we would anxiously wait. But it was separate. As the awards show team, we had no input at all as far as the awards nominations or who wins. That's strictly the organization. And then I did that myself in 2011. I'm sorry. The first 2 years I worked with Bobby Horowitz. We partnered before she left.
Bobby.
Great friend and terrific person in the community. A lot of you may know. And then she left to start her own not-for-profit for kids. And then I just kept it myself as the exec producer. And later I'd love to name my team because I had a very core team. And really, we did a great job with this core team. And then in 2012, merged with Theater Mania, and Gretchen Schugert, CEO of Theater Mania, became the lead exec producer, and I took the seat as a co-exec producer. And that was until 2018 when Theater Mania got taken over, and the contract ended, and that was my last year doing it in 2018. And they have very good people, Charles can tell you, who are producing this show now and do a great job. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring on Peter Breger, and we're going to talk about the Off-Broadway Alliance.
Please do. Hello, Peter. Nice to see you again. Been a while.
Okay, Peter, here you come.
I was muted when I greeted Bob. Hi, good to see you.
Hello, Peter.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
All right, great. Well, thanks.
Actually, you're a little softer than the other voices I've heard.
Okay, let's see. I wonder if I seem to be
Yeah,
at
that did it. Whatever you did, it just worked.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Well, hi, Bob Blume, and hi, Bob Ost. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. The Off-Broadway Alliance. Well, I guess we're relative newcomers. The Off-Broadway Alliance started in 2008, 2009. as a result of the crisis of off-Broadway, although I suppose you could say off-Broadway is always in one sort of a crisis or another. But
like so many of us.
yeah, but but New World Stages, which had been built when off-Broadway was the hottest thing in the 90s and people were building new theaters, suddenly found itself, the owner of this gigantic space that couldn't be filled. So Beverly McKean, you remember her, was running it for the Dodgers for a
I
while.
do actually, yes.
Yeah, and so she gathered the community to try to talk about what we should do about the crisis and figure out what to do. And what came out of that was the Off-Broadway Alliance. The mission of the Off-Broadway Alliance was to promote and encourage off-Broadway and to promote production, to help potential producers, to educate and provide resources for new producers in production, and also to see what we could do about branding, because I mean, off-Broadway is this, at least in our view, extraordinary thing, unique in the world, I would say.
Let me ask you something, Peter.
Yeah.
When you say off-Broadway, are you using the equity definition? Because I always try to say that equity sort of defines how.
Yeah, I would say mostly we're using the equity definition. We're a little bit flexible lately, as more and more people are, about shows in 99-seat theaters that we think are significant, provided that they have 21 performances. But for us, the 21 performance threshold is not so much about distinguishing between certain types of productions and showcases. It's about having enough performances so we can get our nominators in to see it with everything else that's going on.
So let me just say to the room, for a case or outside viewers, if you don't know, that basically equity defines a showcase as anything that is in the theater that's 99 or fewer seats. Off-Broadway is anything that's more than a 99-seat house to 499, and then Broadway kicks in at 500. 500 seats and more is considered Broadway. So equity really defines a lot of things about theater based on the size of the space you're in. Right. Although I don't think all of us completely agree with that as being the best way of deciding.
Right. Well, as I say, we're flexible about it. I mean, we consider shows that are happening in Brooklyn, like at Theater for a New Audience, and we count the public theater downtown and also the public theater in the park as eligible for Off-Broadway Alliance awards. But because our mission, as I say, is to promote off-Broadway as a thing and connect people to what off-Broadway is. So that's why we started with collaborated with New York City and the mayor's office to create the first off-Broadway economic impact report, and our Sunday seminars. And that's why we started the awards in 2011 to promote the idea, to focus. Our focus is on shows that we feel are perhaps less likely to get attention. We make an effort to find smaller theater companies, new theater companies, and give them some love, as it were, and some visibility. And also, part of what our awards do, about half our awards go to what we call Legend of the Sundays. Thank you, Jane. You were a great panelist on our Sunday seminars. So I was going to say half of the awards are for what we call Legends of Off-Broadway, and our posthumous awards to Hall of Fame members. We give this to people who, and also a Friend of Off-Broadway award. So we give this to people who've made in continuing contribution to off-Broadway, to embodying the spirit of off-Broadway, and to connect. And the point of this is to connect the current community with the history of off-Broadway, from its earlier beginnings and the spirit of off-Broadway. And it has a remarkable effect. I mean, we have this situation. I remember one year we had, I think it was Bob Kalfin, who had, carved out a theater way west on 42nd Street when that was a scary place to be, and who had done so much for early off-Broadway. And when we gave him this award, he was so happy, and he came up with this sheaf of paper that looked like an autobiography, and he started talking about the history of his theater and the history of off-Broadway. And my producer was looking at me like, what are we going to do? Keep this moving, get him off. And then I looked at this new theater company, Fiasco Theater, that we were honoring for their revival of Coriolanus that year. And they were all in their 20s, and they were all sitting like this, rapt, fascinated by hearing Bob's story, wanting to hear more of it, because they were feeling that, okay, this is what we're part of. This is the continuum that we're part of. So that's the focus of the Off-Broadway Alliance.
Okay. By the way, Bob Kaufman was a very dear friend, and I'm so glad you honored him. He certainly deserved that. We're going to bring on Kat Parker now, and Kat Parker actually is the artistic director of the Articulate Theater, which is a whole other story. But you have come on board as the person that's looking after the awards for the it used to be Innovative Theater, now it's Independent Theater, right? So tell us a little bit more. You know more than I do.
I am sort of the unwavering cheerleader for the New York, now Independent Theater Awards, and we take care of everybody else. You guys have Broadway, you have off-Broadway. The Independent Awards are about everybody else. We are the people who will recognize and reward the showcase performers, the showcase producers, those people who don't get as much love from those kind of situations. The New York, what it was called then, the New York Innovative Theater Awards, was created in 2004 by three people who had two goals in mind. And that was to bring together all of the disparate parts of off-Broadway people, all these people who were doing jobs during the day and then giving their hearts and souls to try to pull out some theater out of their back pockets on a shoestring, all the way from Brooklyn up to Queens. And they were doing these things independent of each other, and they didn't know about each other. There wasn't social media. There wasn't a way of having everybody get together. And so the Independent Theater Awards were created to help bring all of our community together and benefit each other and start to collaborate with each other and to get together to share resources. So we weren't constantly reinventing the wheel every time somebody wanted to start something new. The second reason really was about the awards itself, because as we all know, one of the best things you can do as a not-for-profit is to get a grant. And grants, especially in New York City, are very, very hard to come by. And so there's a whole lot of people vying for very little money, especially now. So one of the things that an award show does for people in our community is to make them, in the mafia way of using that term. You can be a made person if you get an award, then you have something to put on your grant. And once you get an award, other people feel more inclined to support you because somebody else has verified for them that you are good at whatever it is you're doing. Acting, singing, producing, whatever it is that you're doing, someone else has helped to verify that you are who you are, that you are good at what you do. And one of the other things that sets us apart is that we have very little framework as far as how many performances and who can be nominated. It's anywhere in New York centric, and including Staten Island, all the boroughs. And it can be, I think at one point we had like a 4 performance minimum, or something like that. So it was very wide open to just about anybody. And the way we were able to do that is that we used our entire community as judges. Because what we did was that when you went to see a show as a regular audience member, you were given a form and or sent to a website where you could put in your 2 cents as to how these people fared and if you wanted to vote for them. As any audience member could do that. And that counted for 25% of your vote. The rest of the 75 came from members. And so like I was our artistic member of artistic director for Articulate Theater. If I wanted to be considered, I had to nominate 3 people or had to go to 3 different performances and then judge them as an official judge. And then somebody else who wanted me to come to one of my performances and judge. So we had people who were in our community as well as audience members who would be the official judges for these awards. You might notice that I'm speaking a lot in past tense, and that's because the NYIT Awards have gone through several iterations throughout their time. The people who began, and I should have written down their names because now I can't read Shay and
Shake Lines.
Yeah, is the chief there. And as you guys all know, is the founder's disease, right? You know, people start something and then they get married, they have kids, they move away, health things, whatever it is that takes them away. And so in 2019, they very smartly planned for someone to take over for them. And that was myself and Akia Scudieri. I'm just massacred her name.
No, that's right, Akia Scudieri.
Yep. And
of Rising Sun Performing Arts.
Correct. And 2 others. We took it over. We were brought in 2019 for our big awards show there. And we were announced as the new people taking over. And then, of course, COVID. So, Bevin, like you, we did not really get to jump right into another award that was building on something else. We didn't do really anything in 20, and then we started building back, and we could not do our awards because so many theater performances were not happening. So we scaled down and did what we called just our honorary awards, so that we would have some people who were nominated just by virtue of what they had done for our community. And we did that for 2 years. And then then my colleagues in that had to step down for other personal reasons. And I thought we were going to have to close down. But I went knocking on doors and found an open door at LIT, the League of Independent Theater, who took us on as the organization to run. And then they started running us. And now their leadership has actually started to step down as well. So we have some new leadership at the League of Independent Theater, and they are now considering how they want to do the NYIT Awards. And I say that as a
I'm gonna bring more people on. We're gonna come back to this because I wanna actually support you in what I know is one of your subtexts. I want to support you in getting people interested in helping maintain League of Independent Theaters. So let me just start bringing people in to join you. So let's see. There's got to be a faster way of doing it, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, wait a second. I'm supposed to be adding Spotlight. Adding Spotlight. There we go. Add Spotlight. Now back to Kat, who I mistakenly took off screen, and I'm going to come on and join you as well. So thank you all for being here. I mean, thank you all for giving us a little bit of introduction about the history and the purpose of your awards. I do want to I want to return to something that is just a personal thing for me, which is I didn't realize that the Tony Awards started off without categories. How do we feel about the fact that the Tony Awards now are the Tony Awards have changed probably less than any of the other awards. It holds on to certain standard procedures, like categories. Bevin, you didn't mention this, but you give non-gender awards now. Your awards are no longer.
We've always done that since 1934.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. Why do you feel like non-gendered awards is the way to go? And I'm going to ask other people how they feel about that.
Well, I mean, I'm grateful that that's how we do it. We've been doing that for 91 years. And so it makes it so that there is one winner of the Distinguished Performance Award, and it highlights their performance for the year. It makes them exceptional. It really, who is the person who everyone wants to remember from the 2024-2025 season for decades to come. And so it's not about whether they're a man or a woman, or separating them, or non-gendered, or leaving people who are non-binary out. It is about the performance itself. So that's why I like it.
I also find it daunting, though, because I've seen the list of people being considered for an award. It's a really long list, because and I don't know how I would ever choose one out of all of that.
Well, the good thing is that you wouldn't. There's no one person that does it. It's the members of the Drama League, and so it's that's a community that comes together and they pick it, and they are audience members as well as producers, as well as theater practitioners themselves. So it's a very wide-ranging, diverse group of people who are in love with the theater that vote on it. So it's intimidating, but also it's when I arrived, as a new person, I was told these are traditions and you do not mess with them. Right. So we have 40 to 50 people on a dais eating chicken, or now I do steak just to make it so it's not quite chicken lunch, but in front of people. And it's this year it was Mia Farrow right behind whoever was accepting their award. You would watch Mia Farrow eat her lunch behind them. I mean, it's an absurd kind of thing, but we've been doing this for over 90 years. And so it is, but it's not about the winner. It's about the 40 to 50 people that are on that stage and building that community. And that's why they like coming. It's the moment when they all get to mix and mingle and be together in community for a lunch, where it's the winner only has 1 minute at the end, but the community has a whole afternoon.
So let me ask you another thing. To go back to the purpose of the Drama League. The Drama League, has it always been dedicated to directors? Because I know you. So what's the evolution? Because right now I know that the focus seems to be very much on directors.
Yeah, for the past a little over 40 years, we have been dedicated to uplifting the director community. But before that, we were much more broad and have had many different ways of helping our community. I mean, we even did blood drives in World War I. We were in the first global pandemic. We supported the theater community during the Spanish flu because we were founded right before that in 1916. So we have had playwright awards. We have had celebrated playwrights before the 1980s. It wasn't until 1982 that we really honed in on how we were going to focus on a sort of unsung hero of the theater community, which is the director. We are now the only service organization in the country solely dedicated to directors.
Okay, as opposed to the SSDC.
That's a union. That's not
a union. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Service organization.
Okay. So let me move to Bob and Charles and Drama Desk. How have they changed over the years, and what is your criteria for?
Can I speak for a second, Charles? I want to get
Absolutely.
one point across that's very unique to me. I'm a commercial producer. And when I came in, I met with the board the first time in 99. I told them this is going to be my vision of what I want to do with the Drama Desk Awards. Again, not change the organization, the awards, okay? Please, because okay. I'm a member of the organization now for a long time. I was a Tony voter for 20 years, a member of the league, and I've been a Drama Desk member now for about 20 years. But I came in as a producer, and I told them, and I said, my vision's a little bit different than other people here with award shows in that there were a lot of award shows after the Tony Awards. There were the Littels, the Obies, all of the other awards, Drama League, etc. I said, I want to make the Drama Desk the Golden Globes of the theater that they're going to think of us right behind the Tony Awards, without, of course, the budget and things like that. And now, so I think outside of the Tonys, unless I'm mistaken, I think at least when I was there, under that we were the only ones televised on national television. We were on PBS a lot of the years that I produced it. Has any other award shows been on national TV outside of Tony's? The theater?
Not that I know. I mean, I would be curious about
No,
the Outer Critics Circle, whether they've ever.
they did not have a television deal. I know that for a fact. So all I'm saying is, so my purpose, which was a little bit different, was I was going to take the awards and make them the Golden Globes. I coined that phrase. I took a little flack because people thought I compared the organizations. And as you know, the Golden Globes organization, at least back then, the foreign press were kind of shaky, to say the least. But this had nothing to do with the
They
organization.
they weren't looked up to.
No, that's right. Exactly. However, okay, I didn't mean that. What I meant was after the Tony Awards, I wanted people all around the world to know who the Drama Desk Awards were. And by television and by a huge amount of press we got during my years from 99 to 2011, thanks to Les Schechter, the late Les Schechter, a fabulous PR person. We were even in the International Herald Tribune. I remember getting very excited when I saw that. We used to get tons of press, and I made deals with the New York Times and Variety to run large ads and barter deals, just for not to sell anything, just to know who we were, because I wanted people to know who the Drama Desk Awards were, and that was my goal. Was during my time, I'd like to say that, to lift them out of all the different award shows to be noticed and recognized after the Tony Awards for excellence as a critics award.
Well, let me ask you, was it you who said in your introductory remarks that you don't talk about best? You were the one who said outstanding,
No,
outstanding.
I said that, but
No,
that's been true throughout the history of the organization.
Yeah. So best or outstanding. The question still comes back to, for me, the original Tony Awards and the Obie Awards they don't give categories. They just look at the season and they said this is worth noting. This is worth really giving an award to. There are no categories. So how do you feel about that approach versus the idea that a lot of awards do have categories? It makes it neater. It makes it easier to understand. I mean, you go to the Obie Awards, the whole vibe is so different though, because they've actually sat down and they've looked at the entire season and they've picked out not just performances, not just plays, not just productions. It's just like things that were worth honoring. And that obviously the Tonys don't do that anymore. What do you think about that? Peter, is that how you do yours? Do you have categories?
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, we do best play, best musical revival, best play revival, unique theatrical experience, which we do for things like Sleep No More was the first one. We kind of invented the title for that, the category for that in 2011. And then best solo performance. That's the only actor award we give, we honor both the play and the performance for solo shows. And we've had some great, interesting solo shows over the years. But the rest are, as I said earlier, these Legend of Off-Broadway awards for people who keep coming back and do amazing work over decades. off Broadway. So we
Which
honor.
which also the Obies also does that. They
Yeah. Well,
honor
no, the
people
great.
who.
I mean, I've been to the Obies are great fun because they just make up the categories as they go, and
Yeah,
so
that's I guess
you
that's
show
that's what
up,
I'm.
you have no idea what the categories are going to be. I have a feeling they're doing it backstage at the last minute, and then they make a decision. Oh, let's give it to these guys.
And yet I got to tell you, I was best friends with Michael Feingold, and he was very adamant about why they did it the way that they did it.
Right.
Um,
Well, and Michael Feingold is a winner of the Off Broadway Alliance's Hall of Fame Award, and there was a wonderful posthumous honor that we gave to him, and people just there was an outpouring of love over it.
I wish I'd known about
But
that. Thank you.
yeah, so the other thing is, I was so glad to hear you talk about in this sort of thoughtful, practical way about the purpose of the IT awards for everybody else. But I've been to the IT awards a couple of times, and they have that. They're filled with that anarchic spirit, of let's put on a show, and it's just the most fun awards. It was a little loud and a little hip for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I had to get back, for my bedtime, which was evidently before anybody else's at the award ceremonies for IT.
And Kat, how do you designate the recipients? I won't say winners. How do you designate the recipients? What are your? Do you have categories?
We do have categories, and we do call them all recipients. The recipient is, as opposed to using everybody's very allergic to the word winner, or best or outstanding or anything like that. We've always had the classic categories. I think I was not around at the beginning of it, but I suspect it had a lot to do with just recognition, people understanding what it was they were voting for, especially since we had so many people, audience voting who were not necessarily theater people involved in the community. But yeah, we have very typical ones. We were getting ready to, we had discussions from like 2017, 18, 19, about gender, and we're pulling away from doing that. I mean, I fully understand the use of gender in awards because I can remember fighting for equality for women to make sure that they were recognized and supported in the same way, but we've come a long way, baby, kind of thing. So, maybe that's a change. And I think that awards like this have to go along with what's going on in society. And what works best for our community. Right now, we pretty much have a clean slate to figure out what either if Lit is going to carry on with the awards, how they want to schedule it, and if not, then I'll pack it all up and come knocking at other people's doors until I find a new home for it. And then we'll figure out the best way for what suits our community now. And so I think that the more awards we have within RIT, the better. I think it was, I don't know which Bob it was that mentioned this earlier, but you have a winner because that's what gets people in your door. That's what gets people to come to it. We would usually have two big parties in the year. We had the nominee thing, which was if you think the IT awards were edgy and hip and loud, the nominee party was really, that's like an early hours party. And that was everybody who was nominated and everybody who loved those who were nominated. And then the awards were when they came out and when we had the actual awards, nobody knew who was going to win. So everybody came just to see who was going to win. Even though we didn't have winners, they wanted to see who would win. And that's how you got, obviously, people in. So then we also had our honorary awards, like Peter was talking about. You have the people that you acknowledge who were our history, and then the people who were breaking new ground. And then we came up with those kinds of what we call the honorary awards, along with the very selective outstanding actor, outstanding actress, outstanding director, outstanding producer, those commonplace things.
Okay, well, let me think what else I wanted to.
Bob,
I should ask the room,
Bob,
actually.
Bob, could I just add one thing?
Oh, sure.
For the Drama Desk as an organization of writers, theater writers, journalists, feature writers, editors, and publishers. I think it's very important for us to have a comprehensive list of categories, because just as in a review, to the extent you're able, you hope to take a comprehensive look at the work of the company. With awards, there is an urge to take a comprehensive look at the seasons. So we have awards for wig and hair, for instance, as well as scenic design and lighting design and costume and design. We don't have a outstanding producer award. We don't opine as to who is a good producer or an outstanding producer. The producers do share in the play awards and the musical awards, but I really can't imagine our awards without having a comprehensive list of categories. And we have a certain amount of flexibility. We have categories that don't appear every year. Outstanding review, for instance, REVUE, because every year doesn't deliver, every season doesn't deliver enough reviews to fill a category.
Well,
I think that's really interesting, because ours do go to the producers. It's the opposite. We only give 7 competitive awards, and we use outstanding. We don't use best. And all the outstanding production of a musical, production of a play, revival, direction of a play, those all go to the producers.
Yeah. I that's something that I'm big on as well, because I think that producers deserve to be acknowledged. There's a best play, and then there should be a best production of a play, because
that's all ours are only the production. Yeah,
those are 2 different things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a conversation with Gretchen Cryer many years ago about Victor Victoria. She was just appalled that it was being nominated for a best musical award. And I just said to her, it's because of the production values. I think that people were taken by the production. She just didn't like the show. So, but I think that because of what I do, because of the organization I run, I've become very aware of all that goes into producing a good production, a worthwhile production, a quality production. Those are choices that a producer makes. And I think there should be a producer's award.
Actually. The Drama Desk Award for new musical, the award goes to the creatives and the producer, and new play goes to the playwright and the production company. Best outstanding revival is the producer award.
Best play Tony Awards. Who goes up? It's the writer goes up, right? So there really isn't a production.
Generally, it's the writer and the producers. You have a stage full of people.
Okay, it's a stage. Okay, they all do go up then. Okay, right. Well, but there's such a difference between the play and the production. Anyway, Owen, are there questions from the room? And to the people in the room, I want to actually remind you that one of the reasons I do this is to try to engage you in conversations and to get you involved. So please ask questions. Please participate. Owen, are there any questions yet?
No questions. Jane, emphatically with you on producers needing more credit.
You know, it's an art in itself. I'm a playwright. I never expected, like 30 years ago when I found the True, I never expected to look at producers in the way that I look at them. But I see what goes into producing a show and making the decisions that create a production that is worth actually honoring. Peter, how do you acknowledge? How do you separate the producer from the production?
Well, I mean, our best play, best musical, best revival awards go to the producer. That's who's being honored, but the producer usually invites the playwright or the creative team along, and they all come up and pick up the award together. But I have a feeling the producer is the one who goes home with the plaque. Although periodically the producer will call us and say, "Hey, we'd really like to give one of these to the writers. Can we have another one?" And we say, "Sure."
And this is the opposite side of my argument, which is basically I want to see the writers acknowledged as well. I guess I want to see everybody acknowledged.
But they do, Charles, right? In the Drama Desk Awards,
Yeah.
if it's best play, the author of the play gets the Drama Desk Award, and the producers get their own Drama Desk Award for it.
The
Okay.
trophy, yeah.
Mhm.
Have there
And the
ever been
right to buy additional awards.
I mean, our folk, I would say, Bob, in answer to your question, the reason we give it to the producer, well, first of all, my understanding was traditionally that was the way it was done, but mainly our function, right, is to encourage production. So that's why we focus on producers. We want to encourage them
I love
and get them to be
playwright
more
here.
aware of them. I'm sorry.
Playwright here. We like to get encouraged too.
Yeah, but you don't need to be encouraged. You're already inspired. So
No, the playwrights benefit a lot from awards because what they get is they get their productions produced elsewhere because they won those awards. They get that attention. So it's really important both ways.
I guess my quibble is that the distinction, I don't think the distinction is really well understood. I mean, it's understood by people within the business, but I don't think people understand the difference between a great play and a great production. And sometimes a great production will win a best play award. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Amazing production. Was it a great play? And any thoughts, anyone?
It won the Drama League Award for when it opened, and it was for production, not for play. But we don't give play awards, so I don't know.
So but didn't it win I may be wrong, but did it win the Tony for the best play? It did. So the Tony Awards, let me ask you all, how do you think the Tony Awards fit into what our conversation here? I mean, obviously, if I could get somebody from the Tony Awards to be on the show, I would do it. But I feel like you're much more the community. The theater community for the Tony Awards is really kind of a
Bob, is it
Valhalla. It's
the
Olympus.
The Tonys differs from all of our awards, okay, because it means money. They pay to put their productions on the awards. It's looked like is a giant promo for the shows. So there's a commercial aspect. There's also a political aspect. There's a lot of the voters are part of the companies that produce the shows. So it's different than all of ours that are on this now, because we're there, all of us have our different type of award shows, but we all want to celebrate the community and the people that do outstanding work in the community, and we honor them in our different ways. The Tony Awards does that, but there's an element to it where it means money, ticket sales, and show survival. Whereas I don't quite think it means that much, to them, for the money to the producers of the show for any of our awards. I tried to get the Drama Desk Awards to be on TV, and getting on PBS made us more important. So press agents did more for us at that time, I believe, because we got visibility for their clients and their shows. We were the first. I was very proud of it that we were the first time off-Broadway numbers were seen by almost a full national audience. Remember The Kid? Was one I remember with Chris Siebert and, I forgot the other actor's name right now, very well known, and others, and they were so excited about that. So that was a great element. But most of the Tonys is very political and commercial. We're more pure, all of us here. We care, if I may say so, I believe that. We're looking to honor what we believe deserves to get recognized.
So,
speaking on that, we have a question from RK Green. Do your awards generate funds for your organizations? He notes that the Tonys are very expensive.
The Off-Broadway Alliance doesn't.
Yeah, for the Drama Desk Awards, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Oh, we do. It's a luncheon, and it's has a fundraising element to it that's definitely important to our organization, and funds our not-for-profit mission to support directors. It supports our fellowships and our residencies in the Directors Project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob and Charles, I've got a tough question for you because it's kind of, it might be sensitive, but your awards, people are considered for your awards from Broadway, off Broadway, and off Broadway. How fair is the competitiveness there? And how likely is a small little show going to be to run up against a big Broadway smash?
Bob, shall I go first?
I
have one thing I would say, and that's go ahead. But I'll let you
go ahead.
Well, I'll just say this. I remember, I wish I could remember the shows, but it was a one-person show downtown by a well-known actress. I can't remember, it's so long ago, 2000, and it won over a huge Broadway musical or a huge Broadway play. I forgot which one. It happened a few times. The one particular, I just wish I could remember the names, and I remember what it caused. So, and my answer is, in a lot of categories, especially actor categories, and director categories, I think elements of the play, I definitely believe they're all on an equal playing field. Where it might differ potentially, in my mind, is sets, costumes, sound, projections, things like that Broadway has huge budgets for, that off-Broadway needs more cleverness.
We had an off-Broadway win this year. It was outstanding revival of a play. We had Vanya with Andrew Scott. So it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
It's definitely the case.
Charles speak because he knows more of the history, and he's on the Drama Desk organization side, so he'll know a lot more about it.
Well, it's definitely the case that in terms of production values, money makes a big difference. But my experience is that, for instance, and this is a hypothetical, Dane Laffrey doing very creative and clever work on a tight budget at the Judson Memorial Gym is as likely as Dane Laffrey working on Broadway with a Disney kind of budget, is as likely to win for his off-Broadway work as for his on-Broadway work. The problem traditionally with off-Broadway's competition, and especially off, is that we used to have about 130 voters. We now have about 99 voters. It's hard to get your voters to see a huge number of off-Broadway plays or off-Broadway plays. I mean, people will have lives. They can't do what the nominators do and see 231 productions in a season. So the voters are almost guaranteed to see 100% of the things that open on Broadway. And so that I think insofar as the dice are loaded, it's more for that reason than for ability of the designers and the writers and the performers to compete off Broadway with Broadway.
It's a puzzlement. It's a puzzlement for me, because on one hand, I keep feeling like separating out the categories so that Broadway isn't competing with off Broadway is good for both. But I know that another point of view is that it raises up off Broadway to be considered competitive with the Broadway shows. I don't know if it's realistic. I just don't know if it's realistic. I'm mixed. I'm very mixed about it. Peter, what do you honor? Do you look at Broadway, or you're just off Broadway? Obviously, you're off Broadway, and some little bit of leakage from the 21 performance 99-seat house. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, we want to encourage people. That's the thing.
I think we all want
And
to
people
encourage
who need encouragement and attention.
And at the very heart of it, I want to just say that the reason I think for any of this is that artists really thrive on acknowledgement. And I think that there are probably many, many instances of people who would have given up if they hadn't had the acknowledgement of one of your awards. So I think that you fulfill a very important human goal. I know that how can I say this without being personal? I just know that it really matters to know that somebody actually believes in the work that you do. We're all supposed to be very self-sufficient, and we're all supposed to not depend on what else. Your mother's always told you don't listen to what other people say. You have to know it from within that you're worthwhile and that you're talented and that you're gifted and you're doing great stuff. But man, it sure helps when somebody from the outside gives you a little pat on the head. So I think that
it also helps your mother's view of it. I've been told for as long as we've had the awards by people who say, my parents were just not buying this life decision I've made until you announced that we were the winners.
There you go.
I have to say that probably for every one story like that you have, Peter, in off-Broadway, there's probably 100 because there's just first of all, so many of us, but there's also so many people who were kind of downtrodden by the people around them who were not in the business. They don't understand it. They say, well, the classic of the mom says, I saw a commercial with so-and-so in it the other day, and you could have done better than that. Why didn't you just go get in that commercial? Like you've
given me an idea. Maybe we need to add a category for mothers or just parents, or maybe a non-gendered one for parents.
Stage mom.
Stage mom would be great.
There you go.
Well, I think it was Drama League. You have a friend of theater, or one of you has a friend of theater.
Well, that's Off-Broadway Alliance as a friend of Off-Broadway.
Oh, that's you. Okay, yeah.
Which is our very strategic award. Bob, you talked about our purity. Our friend of Off-Broadway was entirely designed to encourage people to pay more attention to Off-Broadway. We gave one to the head of Playbill, and suddenly
Phil Birch,
right, to Phil Birch, who had basically discontinued offering playbills to Off-Broadway. He changed his mind the next year.
Oh, good for you.
We've given them to reviewers who famously are now harder to come by on Off-Broadway. And you know what? They're starting to show up, our friends of Off-Broadway. So there you go.
Sean, you feel free to turn on your mic and share what you wanted to share. I'm happy to have you.
Great. Thank you.
A big note of that, Peter.
This has been a fascinating conversation. It really has. And I would be honored as an actor to win any of the awards that were discussed today. In fact, I hope that one day I will, so that I can have something to put on my mantle next to this one that I received 48 years ago for a performance. And I'll see if I can get it on camera. It's my Gong Show award.
You may have to turn him on, Bob.
Oh, how do I can't. You can just turn on your camera if you want to come on.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you catch it?
Nice. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It's amazing. They put a lot of thought into these trophies.
Gallery.
Did that in 1977 with an act playing John Boy and Grandpa Walton doing a scene from the Waltons as a parody, half and half makeup. Anyway,
nice.
I'm sorry, Sean. Do you want to do a screen share? Is that what you wanted to do?
Oh, did you not see? Are you seeing my face as I talk?
I'm seeing your face now. So
yeah,
I just moved my camera over here.
Oh, there it is. So you just have it on. Now I see it. Okay. Yeah. God, it looks a lot like the Tony, doesn't it?
If you can't see it, he's
Who
at
knew
the
the
top.
Gong Show gave
not-
awards? I didn't know that.
So anyway,
Nice.
that's on my mantle, and I hope to put a Tony or a Drama Desk Award or any other kind of award next to it. Thanks for letting me share.
So any other questions from the room before, or is there anything else that you guys want to say? Just Well, you know what we really didn't do, Kat? We didn't really say to everybody that, look,
Yeah, I would like to say that.
League of Independent Theater is having a rough time. So you take it, Kat.
And I've told you about kind of the history of the NYIT up to this point. So now we're at a point where Lit is changing leadership, and they are also deciding what and how they will deal with the Independent Theater Awards. As they're trying to make that decision, and if they decide against it for some reason, as I said, I'm going to be looking for ways to rebuild this award. I think it's very, very necessary for the Independent Theater Awards to stick around to honor the off-Broadway people and to allow them to have a voice to move forward up into your award category so that you can award them later on. So if
feed the pipeline.
Yeah, indeed. So if you have, especially you guys that are here on this panel with me, if you would like to have a conversation about ways that you think you can offer some advice or suggestions, or those of you who are listening out there, if you would like to be part of the resurrection of the NYIT, I would really love to hear from you. And you can find me easily enough at kat@katparker.com. Very easy.
Okay, well, thanks, Kat, and I hope that people are taking heart and listening, because I just want to I just want to add my support for the maintaining of the League of Independent Theaters. They've been doing amazing work. It's like 20 years now, isn't it? It's been a while.
I mean, the League of Independent Theaters grew out of the NYIT Awards. It didn't come out. It was not the other way around.
I thought it was the other way around.
No. They grew out of the people, the same kind of function, because one of the things, and one of you touched on this earlier, one of the things that the NYIT did in around 2007, 2008 was to commission an economic study that showed to our politicians and our government people how much money off-Broadway was spending in the community and how much money they were bringing into the community. And therefore that translated into the League of Independent Theater, which then said, hey, politicians, you see how much clout we can have in this. We need a voice. We need you to advocate on our behalf, and we will vote for you if you do. It was very clearly, that's why LIT is a 501c6 organization, not a free, because they are allowed to do political advocacy.
That's correct.
So they grew out of the awards, not the other way around.
I didn't realize that. I thought I've known them for such a long time now. Let me ask everybody, can I take a question from the room? Somebody has a hand raised, or does anybody have to leave?
This is maybe off topic, but was Martin Denton involved in the Independent Theater Awards, or now he's kind of back because his mom passed away, and I don't know how much he can get involved?
Yeah, Martin. Well, it's certainly worth looking into, but I didn't know Martin was back, and he's back, and John Chatterton is back.
Martin was part of the original grouping of support for the start of the NYIT. He was also very instrumental in the creation of LIT as well, just in a kind of a consultant kind of thing. But yes, you're right. He and I talked recently about him coming back as an award giver on behalf of his mother to have the Rochelle Denton Award. So he'll have more information about that coming out.
So I think that we're going to wind up now, and I'm going to...
Bob?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can I promote something I'm doing before?
Sure, why not?
Oh, okay, because I have a chance at the end. If any of you are in the Westport area on August 22nd, I have a play that we do that spotlights mental health issues called Cheese Fries and Chili Dips. It's at Westport Country Playhouse on August 22nd. Information's on their website.
Would anybody else want to?
That's all. I just wanted to
promote
put that out there.
You guys can promote anything you want. That's what we're here for.
That's all.
So okay. Yes, Kat.
I am actually no longer in New York because of COVID. We ended up moving down to Toms River, New Jersey. And I am trying to start something here that's similar to the NYIT and to do an art network of artists of any stripe within the Ocean County area. So if anybody on here is affiliated within that area, give me a boost. I've got I put my email in the chat. You can hit me up and I'll put you on the list of people who are getting information about that. And I would love, again, the chance to talk to anybody in this profession who would have suggestions about how to best get something like that set up in another town, because New Jersey's got a lot of stuff going up near Red Bank, a lot of stuff down at Cape May, and Toms River smack in the middle. So,
Know it well. I spent a lot of time in Ocean County, just for the record, so we might talk.
Good.
So, Bevin, twice in 1 year, lucky me. I got you back. So thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting what we do. Bob Blume,
I'm happy to be here. I learned a lot from my fellow panelists, so thank you.
Oh, good. I like to hear that. Bob Blume, haven't seen you in ages.
I know.
So good to have you back.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll stick around. Maybe I'll see more of you. Charles Wright, very funny story, everybody. I sent out an email about this panel to all of these people you see here, including Charles Wright, but I had the wrong Charles Wright. And the other Charles Wright, whoever he is, emailed back and said he'd love to do the panel. He was totally on board. And so I've been listing this Charles Wright as being on the panel. The other day he called me and goes, I didn't know I was doing a panel. When did this happen? So I don't know what happened. I don't know who the other Charles Wright is, but it's the wrong Wright. So here we go.
Wrong Wright. That's funny.
Yeah. So Peter Breger, again, you're a two-timer this year. You're the second time on my show this year. So thank you for being there and for supporting me and for supporting True. Kat, nice to see you. Hope to keep you involved and engaged in what we do. All of you, I hope you'll come back in the weeks to come and see other things that we're doing. Especially, I'd like people to stop in next week. You know what? I'm going to do a thing for YouTube.
Thank you for having me.
Was that?
I said, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm going to have to.
Nice to be here, Bob. That's good.
You know, I've lost my ability to actually spotlight myself, so I have to remove spotlights from everybody else now, so that I can do my YouTube thank you and goodbye.
Okay, thanks, Bob, and thanks everybody. It's great to see everybody.
So if any of my panelists can stay, I know that people love to meet people afterwards, but that's up to you guys. So here I am finally. It's me again. Hi, YouTube viewers. So thanks to the community that comes every week and supports me in what I do in these weekly community gatherings. If you're discovering us randomly on YouTube, hi, welcome. I'm glad you found us. If you like what we do and if you enjoy listening to this and if you want to be a part of the conversation and be in the room, email me. It's that simple. Just email me at trunltd@aol.com. trunltd@aol.com. I'll gladly send you a Zoom link. Next week we have Jane Dubin and Blair Russell are going to talk about our producer program. In 2 weeks we have John Chatterton who's going to talk about the return of the Midtown International Theater Festival. Yay! One of my favorite festivals, and it's hasn't been around for about 10 years or longer. Then after that, we have Ben Krowich, who's coming in from Minneapolis, who's going to be talking to us about musical programs he has there. We're going to have a conversation with a playwright about how to get yourself produced by a not-for-profit theater company. This is something that I can't officially announce, but it's going to be happening on the 22nd. And other things. Hey, you know what? If there's something you want me to talk about, and if there's somebody you want me to talk to, shoot me an email and say, why don't you interview this person? Why don't you talk about this topic? So we do this for free as a community service, but now that we're post-COVID, now that we're out of shutdown, things cost so much more than they used to, and we have to make money somehow. So everybody, if you want to come for free, you can always come for free. But if you can support us by buying a ticket, or if you want to give us a donation, or join as a member, $95 for a year, we'd welcome you. If you want to donate anything, you can go to trudonate.com, and give us whatever you can. Thanks for being with us, and so blessed to have people that are interested in these conversations, and to have people who come here every week. Thank you, all of you. Bye.